Record to this computer.
Okay. I'm gonna okay that
You've
meeting.
okayed that?
I did. It was an okay situation.
Yeah, I tend
Um,
to save everything for 1 year.
oh, and
And
then
then I just
like
and
do
then
you
I
set
just
that as
dump.
the date? Like 1 year?
No, well, I have folders on my computer.
Yeah.
So like year 10 just ended. So I took the whole folder and I deleted
And you
everything.
were done
And
because
I
it
was
said,
done. Yeah.
oh, that's what I need to do. I need to clean out my folder. I think I have all 10 years saved on this laptop
Oh my
of
God.
recordings
No wonder your
and like double
computer's just like
backed too.
struggling. Your computer's like coughing and dust is coming out of
It
it.
literally is. It's like
Uh-huh.
got a black eye. It's hobbling around. It's like,
Oh
I am
no.
full. I am so full. I'm like, save it. It's like, there's no room. There's no room because you have shit from, I don't know. Anyway,
Get rid of it.
I
There's
will.
nothing,
I'll
there's
do a
nothing
purge.
sentimental. I know that at some point you might be like, oh, boy, I wonder what have we done for 10 years? Jamie, that's when you should download a podcasting app. You can listen to it. I do like to think that you'd be like, oh, I remember Tron, and you just listen to your side of the conversation because
That's what
that's
I
the
do. I
only
just
audio
listen to
file
my
you
garage
have.
band. Yep, that's what it is. All my garage band files. I just
That's
piece it
awesome.
together. Yeah.
Do you want to try GarageBand or
Yeah,
should
I'll
we even
try it.
try it? Okay.
We could try it. I just don't know where it's going to save to because that disk thing isn't coming up. But you know what? I have an ATV guy.
Yep.
You're,
Yep. You're out there on a four-wheeler or
yep.
whatever.
He's gonna ride his four wheel over here and he's gonna figure it out for me. So don't worry. I
Uh,
think we'll cover it up. All right,
I
we'll
think you should
try.
count us down
Of course I
whenever you're
should,
ready. Whenever you're ready.
and I am ready. We'll do it military style. Maybe that means you have to repeat me like so
Oh,
five. No, that would be too confusing. We'll just do it. Five, four, three, two, one.
oh
Oh,
boy, you paused
yeah.
there. I hit it before I was, you
It's
were in
not
a
even letting
rhythm.
me record.
Oh, it's
It
not.
says
It's like,
record
oh,
folder not found.
oh,
Because there's not enough space, it says.
jeez.
Okay.
All
Well,
right. Well,
I'm just closing down
yeah, that's
GarageBand.
fine. You know what? Then, why would I use GarageBand?
Yeah,
Why
that's
would, why
why
would I?
don't. It's gonna
No,
be a
don't.
Zoom
This
recording.
is a real like makes
Look
me a
at I
little
feel so
nervous.
free.
Makes me a little nervous. Really?
Yeah. You
Oh,
were nervous?
d-
Why? Don't these come out okay? These Zoom recordings?
they
Or they're
do, but
not?
I feel like we've had because of the Zoom, because of the what's the thing we used for 100 years? Skype.
Oh,
Like we
Skypes?
always had a backup. Now we don't. It's this recording.
Balls to
I
the
think we can
wall.
do it. You know what?
Yeah.
What kind of a world do we live in where I need multiple backups and everything like that? Technology has evolved to the point where I should feel very confident just saying, Zoom, this is up to you now.
Yeah. Zoom, you pay or your school, your work pays the fee, the monthly
My
fee
work,
for
my
you.
work certainly pays the fee for me to do my podcasts. I hope they're getting all of these files or something. Like they're
I
able to
hope so
get
too.
into my Zoom and be like, what is he doing?
What is he doing?
Why, why is he using Zoom so much? He doesn't teach any online classes. Hours, hours of Zoom's content from this idiot.
Well, at least they have the space,
Yeah.
unlike me. Oh,
Yeah.
well, oh, hey, let me start at the beginning of my notes, which was a new notebook. Sad to say, I had to,
Oh.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
it's not really sad, but yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
well,
you do some doodles. Like we should auction those things off to
we
our
could.
listeners.
Yeah, we could. They could get a doodle for $1. I don't know.
Doodle for $1. That would be so great. Send us $1 and you just randomly get a page. There
Yeah.
may be doodles on it. It might just be
It's like
notes for the
notes.
middle of a movie.
Right. And you don't know. And you could, it's kind of like a fun, puzzle adventure. Like then you got to look at the clues and decide, like, who is she talking about?
Hey, you got to
What is she
try
talking?
and give us enough money to be able to piece together an entire movie.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I
That's the
like
way
it.
that works.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Does.
Oh, that is how it goes, and I
Did you doze during this movie, watching it?
oh my God. I'm so confused by
What
by
was funny in the
movies. Like
80s?
what am I I used to think I understood film. I understood cinema as an art form, as a form of entertainment, and it's not certain movies that confuse me. Movies like Blue Monkey that should confuse me. I was like, well, I know what this is. I know what's going on here. And then we decide to tread into waters of popular, famous
Very,
movies
very. Yeah.
where
What
I'm
is it?
just baffled the whole time.
Same. Scratching the head, right?
Scratching that. When when did you dip out? Because you said you had
Ooh,
to
four
finish
times,
it.
four
Okay,
restarts.
great. I please don't say restart. It's not like you were like,
No, not
let's go back
restarts,
and
but
start over.
pauses. And some of them were like, you know what? I'm gonna just eat some watermelon on the back porch and take a break from this.
And think
Maybe.
about my life.
Yes. Yes.
Think about what I've been doing for 10
And
years.
again, um and sometimes I reflected on the growth of our cinema, if you will, and
I don't know
how
what
for
that
sure it's like
means.
you're giving us a big hug.
Mhm.
Well, like because clearly different things were funny in the 80s than
I
now.
I hope so. I
Mm.
hope. Well, okay. Unless you grew up with this and you've there's a nostalgia factor with every movie. I
Of
understand that.
course.
And I think comedy is one of the ones that is like it's the stickiest one. Like
Yeah,
things that
yeah,
you found funny when you were 18 and you watched that movie.
yeah.
I could see it still working for you specifically now, but I can't imagine anyone today turning this on for the first time and being like, yeah, this is for me.
Well, I don't, I wondered too if maybe like more of experience in the army itself would give you more of a like, oh man, this was what a hoot to, but
Maybe.
so
I
much
don't,
is
I want to
like,
know whose army experience this
what's the
was.
Volkswagen? What's with
So,
that? Like, how did that, what turn did we take with that Scooby-Doo van?
I
Once that,
was,
I was like,
I,
what's,
I
not
was
that I
so
needed a comedy
confused.
with Bill
Yeah.
Murray and Harold Ramis to be steeped in reality. I'm not asking for that, but
Okay. All right.
I'm
Okay.
not
So
looking for things to
Ghostbusters is
be.
not off the table, is what you're saying.
I
I'll
afraid
buy
no ghost.
ghosts, but a
Totes.
military Winnebago, I'm sorry. That's a bridge too far. Because you're right. Because I was at that point in the movie, I was so confused by what I had been watching
Well, and
that I
again,
saw that and I went, I know that this is a joke. Like this is very clearly a joke where other things I'm like, I don't know if this is supposed to be
I don't
funny or
know. They
not.
trying to be funny. Yeah.
But it was so bizarre that I was
Yes.
like, well, this is so much more in some sort of fantasy land than what I had been watching.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole other level of it. And then meeting the girlfriends in Germany. I didn't, once we got over to Europe, I was like, why? Why didn't we end the movie? Why didn't we just, congratulations, you're going to do this thing? And that's it. What
I
happened?
hate to say that. Oh, we haven't even started the episode. So
No,
this is all
I
at the
haven't.
end.
Hmm.
So
Right.
if you're listening to this, this is the end, so it's too late. But I almost want to tell people, hey, why don't you go back and listen to our episode on Private Benjamin? Because I feel like a lot of the same things that we said in that movie will be said again.
Right.
Where the one thing we said in there is when she graduated, that movie should have ended.
Yeah.
Like that should have been the end of that movie, should have been the end of this movie.
Yeah, why do we have to keep on with the
Yeah,
tale that's
right.
told? Like just leave
Yeah.
it. Just
We
don't
don't need to
complicate
see,
it.
yeah.
Don't give me extra
Hmm.
scenes of like bombs or I don't need it. I
Yeah,
don't
I
need
don't
it.
need to see Goldie Hawn go work at the Pentagon. I don't need to
No,
see these guys go to Italy for
no.
some reason.
For that van, for that
They
Scooby-Doo
and they
van.
all go to Italy
The whole troop
to just their job in Italy is to watch this van.
in shifts of two. And then I thought
Jesus
earlier one of
Christ.
them said that, or one of the sergeants, and again, this is where I think we said this in the Goldie Hawn movie too. Like if I had better knowledge, like the rankings of the officers, who's the lieutenants, who's the sergeants, who's the who, what are we, what's the order of operations here? I know what's his
Yeah.
name. Oh, what's his name?
John
Who plays the
Larroquette.
guy? Yeah. What? Say it again.
John Larroquette from Night Court. Or
Yes,
who we,
yes,
okay,
yes.
yes.
Because he's pretty high up, obviously. Like he's higher up than their drill sergeant guy,
Yeah,
but he doesn't seem good at his job, not
he
once, not
commands
never.
no respect, and I don't know
No.
why.
Mm-mm,
Like,
mm-mm.
this happens so often in movies, and it's something where in a movie like this, first of all, please don't make this movie longer. But I need some character. I need the drill sergeant or somebody to be like, oh, he only got this position because his father, blah, 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 or he's a
Right. Or his
college boy and
grandfather
da, da.
was a da 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 da.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all I need
Mm-hmm.
because he's playing with toys, but he wants to be in battle and nobody
Uh-huh.
respects him. I don't understand.
And well, I guess being in the army is like gets the ladies, but I mean, I don't know. Is
Does
that the
it?
allure of the job? I thought the allure was like I
I
didn't think it was
I'm
getting ladies, but maybe.
I right. I find it hard to believe that just several years out of Vietnam, being in the army is getting the ladies. Like I just don't think the military was looked upon all in that good a light at that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What year
Anyway,
is
I
this
think we
movie?
should. I hold
Yeah,
on. We need to
Let's
start the
start so we
podcast.
can talk
I
about
don't
all
remember
that.
who starts. Do you remember who
I
starts?
think it's me.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
think it's me. Okay.
I'll let you start the striped episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We get together every 2 weeks and we talk about a movie from, well, the 1980s. I am one of your co hosts, Jamie Lorello, on the other end of things here. Chun Chun,
Oh, I have to
saluting you.
salute you. I don't know which of one of us is in charge.
Well, fine. Oh, well, this is not an in
You're
charge situation. We're in the same platoon, I suppose.
you're right. You're right. You know what? You
Right. So
did
no
start the
saluting
episode today,
necessary.
so yeah, you're right.
You
We're on.
should salute me for my start, but you're DP McCambridge, in case I didn't say that. Did I say it? I might have.
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
Okay.
guys, there have been 300 plus episodes. Oh, you know what? I don't normally say this, but every now and then we talk about a movie that people have heard of. So this may be people's first time. Who knows?
Oh, I
Someone
don't
may
know.
have
Maybe
just
this
dipped
was your
in
opening
because
episode. Yeah.
they're a big stripe head, which is what I assume you guys call
Is that what they
yourselves.
call it?
And
Okay.
they're and they're in here. So yeah, maybe it is important that we said our names. But anyway, yes, we are talking about Stripes from 1981, one
Early
year
80, yeah.
after Private Benjamin.
Hmm, hmm,
Hmm,
hmm.
you know,
They like to make
that
silly
should
80s.
have
What's the one? Oh, Spies Like Us. That might was gonna maybe be my recommendation, but I didn't do that one.
um
A better isn't
is it
aren't they?
is it
I-
is it? Because now I'm scared. Now now I'm scared. 80s comedies that involve guns or the military, I kind of want to stay away from now.
I want to veer away. I want to veer away.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Not
Spies
veer
Like
away.
Us. The thing I remember about Spies Like Us
That's
is
Dan
it
Aykroyd,
has
yeah.
a theme song by Paul McCartney that is terrible.
Oh.
The theme song is like, hey, hey, what do you say? I'm a spy, and so are you. Hey, hey, we are spies. It's so bad. Look it up, listen to it. It's an
Okay.
embarrassment. Like, and the
Oh
fact that it's
man.
Paul McCartney makes it even funnier. And I remember watching an interview with the director John Landis, where he was so excited because he was told that Paul McCartney wanted to write a song for his
Oh,
thing, and he
yeah.
got it, and he's like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" He's
This
like,
is
"It was
terrible.
awful." So he just like put it at the end of the movie during the credits.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
yeah.
I wonder what Paul. I bet Paul McCartney was like, I don't
No, I
give
don't think he
floating
cared at
fucks.
that
Yeah.
point, right? So yeah, this is directed by Ivan Reitman, the only Ivan Reitman movie that we've talked about on this podcast
Oh,
so far.
well, look at
So,
us.
I mean, I'm sure we'll do a Ghostbusters
Hmm.
and a Ghost, but you know what? That feels like a month for us. Just do Ghostbusters 1 and 2 back to
Oh,
back.
yeah, we could. We could
Do it.
a go Ghostbuster month. Is there like a haunted month? Well, we don't want to
I mean,
do
that
a
would be
Halloween.
Halloween.
Day of the Dead. That's also around Halloween.
That
We'll figure it out.
famous Hispanic movie, Ghostbusters. Because I feel like I need some sort of Bill Murray, Harold Ramis
Cleanse.
palate
Yeah.
cleanser after this. I have to
Yeah.
watch something they did and be like, oh yeah, okay, they're talented. And I don't want to say I find them in this movie
They,
charming.
I agree. I'm not, their performances are not necessarily lacking. It's just like, again, this is Bill Murray with that fun, like, I'm gonna be the crazy guy,
Yeah.
and Harold Ramis. Honestly, I wanted more of that um English learners class that Harold Ramis was
So did
teaching.
I wanted way more of them before the army.
Yeah, yeah.
That's 100% what I wanted. And there were times later, like when Bill Murray puts PJ Souls, that's one of the MPs, the military police ladies,
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah.
he puts her on the oven and is like flipping her and
Tickling
poking
her
her
with the
with
spatula,
yes,
and then
like yes, like there were
yeah,
times when he was doing that where I'm like, okay, this is just the character from Ghostbusters, and this
yeah.
could be Sigourney Weaver right now, and Sigourney Weaver would have none of it, which I
Mhm.
like that dynamic in that more
Yeah,
than
yeah.
PJ Souls, who's like, yeah,
No,
oh,
yeah.
so I, none of the performances are the problem here. I just think it's the overall idea of, did they not know how to do military comedies in the 80s?
It was lacking. It was lacking. Well, but again, maybe you or I don't have military. Neither one of us did military
No,
time.
I never
I
did
can't even tell
military
military
time.
time. When people answer with that, oh, 12,
When they're saying
I
oh
can't.
500, you're like,
If
I don't know, 815, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't do that kind of trick. So maybe if you had spent time in the army, this resonates. Maybe if you again, if you were a older dude who was in the army and watched
Yeah.
this in the 80s, maybe this was resonating a little bit more, you know?
One
But
of the words you just said is the most important word, and that was dude.
dude,
I can't imagine any ladies being like, and please, ladies out there listening, let me know. If you're a big, I already called you guys stripe heads. If you're a big stripe head, let me
call it
know.
out, shout it out.
Please,
We want to be a,
from
yeah.
the
And
rooftops.
no judgments to you, because I want to just know where, but yeah, the lady, this was a dude's movie. This is a dude's, and
Yeah, it
maybe that's
appears
again what, maybe that's where some of these 80s comedies fall, is they weren't meant for the whole population. They were meant for a small section
right, yes.
of people.
And there are plenty of movies still made that are like that.
Of course, of
And I
course, of
think,
course.
we're just opening ourselves up to everything. And I don't know if I've ever said this before on this podcast, 10 years, everything doesn't need to be for everyone. So it's not, and I don't want to excuse it and be like, well, we didn't like it, but you know what? This may actually be good. No, I don't think it's actually good. But I don't think that doesn't mean that nobody can like this movie. You certainly can. This is just it's really not for me, and I'm so confused as to who this is for because so many of the jokes are just not funny or tired, and then the movie takes weird turns where I did not expect us to watch mud wrestling for as long as we
As
watched mud
long as we
wrestling.
did, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
And
felt
as
like it
much
was
as I
most of the movie to
enjoy,
me
it was a when the mud wrestling started, I think that might have been my first, right before my first break.
when
Because
I
I
was
was like,
watching
I
it. I'm
could
like,
tell.
I bet Jimmy's probably taking
I was
this
like,
one off.
this is going to be a
Yeah.
whole thing. So I'm going to take a break. Now, I do enjoy, we all know I love John Candy, right?
Hmm.
And so I enjoyed his, but again, not enough of him, really. I mean,
No.
if I like that he's the one doing the wrestling, but at the
Yes.
same time, I don't like that we had to see so much of like you said, this is a whole thing here, the wrestling
Right.
scene. It's a
Yeah.
whole long thing. And then
And there was so much that confused me about the wrestling scene too, because I just didn't understand. So they were bidding. God, you know what? Let's wait until we're there
okay,
because
we'll
I did
get there.
not know what was happening, why it was broken up by the cops, why money was exchanged, and
There were
I didn't
bets. There were bets put
on what?
on
On
people.
what?
I think on John
On John
Candy.
Candy? But he had to put money up to wrestle the ladies. They were auctioning off the opportunity to wrestle. These women.
I don't understand the
Okay. All right.
establishment.
Well, I
Mm-mm.
can see that we're not going to get any answers when we get to that point. But yes, let's go through our cast real quick because amazingly enough, again, 10 years, 80s movie podcast, never did a Bill Murray movie, never did a Harold Ramis movie. They have not appeared in anything we've done.
And here they are. This is not first for them, but real big what's the word where they're like not discover movies, but this is one of the
Like
wow, Bill
star
Murray's a
making
funny guy.
performance.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Put them on the map or launch their
Mm-hmm.
careers. John Candy's in this. We saw him
Mm-hmm.
in Follow That Bird, Summer Rental, Great Outdoors, Hot to Trot, and Who's Harry Crumb.
Yeah.
Warren Oates is their sergeant. He hasn't been in anything
Mm.
that we've talked about. And he died 2 years after this movie.
Oh.
Yeah, what a shame. This may have been the last thing he made.
Hmm.
PJ Souls is one of the MP ladies.
Got it. The other one is
And
Sean Young, right? Is that
yeah,
the other one?
Sean Young. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
PJ Souls was in Private Benjamin the
Mm-hmm.
year
Mm-hmm.
before this.
Mm-hmm.
She was Wanda Winter in that. I think she was just one of
The
Goldie Hawn's
platooners.
friends. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Sean Young from Dune and Young Doctors in Love.
And Doctors in Love.
John Larroquette was in Cat People, Star Trek 3, and Summer Rental. Do you remember when he was in Summer Rental as just a guy who took John Candy's wife to the movies once? And we're like,
Oh,
what
that's
is
right.
going
And
on?
it was super awkward.
Yes. And we were like, what was it? Where's the subplot where he thinks they're having an affair? Nope. He's just there like helping to build a boat at the end.
That's right. See,
Yes.
those kind of plot. I want that Summer Rental movie back
Yeah.
over Stripes for some reason. Like Stripes, so popular, so well known, right?
Right. Yeah.
But and that Summer Rental had some odd turns it took
Right.
and weird, but I will take
It
that over
wasn't great, but
this.
I'll take, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
one last person I want to bring up. Judge Reinhold's in
Judge
this.
Reinhold's in it with some
Yes.
just like random lines here and there. We're like, oh yeah, he's in this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Joe Flaherty, who plays one of the Russians at the toll booth gate thing at the end
Oh,
there.
okay. Hmm.
During our 10-year anniversary episode, I was like, oh, here's the people that have been in the most movies. He's
Who's
not a
he?
main player in anything, but he was in Johnny Dangerously, Follow That Bird, One Crazy Summer, Blue Monkey, Who's Harry Crumb, and Back to the Future 2.
He gets around.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, those character actors, he can do it.
Yeah, you're gonna see him.
And I know
All
him
right.
mostly as the dad in Freaks and Geeks. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Look at that. All
all right,
right.
let's
So
get
there's our cast.
right into this movie because the movie gets right into it by showing us an ad for the army at the
For the
start.
army, right? We've got a commercial, an army commercial. And then we I don't know how Bill Murray, what kind of life, I guess he's a photographer, right? By like,
Great, wonderful question.
yeah.
I was like, is the camera in the seat of his cab there just for the joke? Just for the joke of
No,
taking
because then
pictures?
later at the apartment that I think is his girlfriend's apartment, really, there's all these photos.
Yes.
So you're meant to think he's like a New York artist type who could have, is getting his boots shined for some reason and watching this commercial.
Yeah.
But he's also, I guess, to pay the bills, he's not a very good cabbie. He's a cabbie in New York, and we watch him. So first we watch him watch an army commercial and get his shoes shined. And then his cabbie is illegally parked. He has a ticket on it.
Yeah.
And the first thing we see is two guys who get a ride from him, but then
Mm-hmm.
stiff him, right?
Ditch out. Yeah.
And he goes to chase them down, and he picks up what looks like a wealthy older woman. She's got a
Mm-hmm.
fur. She's asking to go to the airport, handle my bags carefully. Of course, he doesn't. And she's kind of a bitch in the back of the
Yeah.
car.
But it's
Um,
him just like, it's just bits and just
yes,
gags and like, oh,
yes,
I'm going to take pictures of you. And, oh, no, I'm covering my eyes. I hope.
yes.
Oh, and I'm swerving. And oh, I shouldn't have had all that cough medicine and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, it's just Bill Murray doing bits. And I'm okay with it. But also, I like that you filled in the fact that he's a photographer because I didn't understand. I don't. I didn't understand what his motivation was for anything that he was doing, meaning, why are you getting your shoes shined? Why are
Why
you
that? I
you
don't know.
don't
Maybe
seem to have money. Why are you getting your shoes shined?
I,
You're a cab driver.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And later he well, also, can you just quit your cab job by parking your car in the middle of a bridge and throwing the keys into the river?
I mean, that's one way to end it. That's one way to end it. So that's what he does. As this lady's kind of freaking out on him and is like, I'm going to report you and give me your name and you're done for. He's kind of over it himself. I don't
Hmm.
know if we're meant to think it's the army commercial he saw earlier that made it click like, oh, I have an out after this or what it is. But it's like this lady has pushed him to his last nerve.
Yeah.
He does, like you said, all these crazy bits, and then yeah, stops the cab in the middle of the bridge and just throws the keys overboard.
But it
And then,
also, his girlfriend in a minute or two
mhm.
says, "Oh, you lost your job again. You did this last week too." So I'm like, how can you be at the end of your rope driving a cab if you've been doing it for 5 days, maybe?
Well, again, he's really an artist. He wants to get paid for his photography. I wish we leaned a little
Yeah,
more
I wish
into
that
that.
was mentioned rather than you
Yes,
telling
then
me
just,
on this
I think it
podcast
was
that he's a
suggested.
photographer.
I think it was
I
suggested.
saw that there was a big picture of her in
Hmm.
the apartment, but I just assumed that she was a model. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
was
Well, because
assuming.
our first listen, like you said, this is a dude forward movie. So we show topless girls as often as we can.
Yes.
So when he does go home, she is home and topless and then
Hmm.
slowly starts to get dressed. And first, you're not even sure because she's kind of, well, he brings home a pizza, which he dropped on the way
Oh
in.
God. Yeah, he brings home road pizza. He,
Yeah.
he he picked that up off of the dirty alleys of New York and put it back in the box.
On his way home, he notices his car is getting
Oh,
repoed. So the
yeah.
car, like it's just the day for him. He starts out with a
It's a
shoe
bad
shine,
day.
and it's all downhill from there. Quits his job, car gets
Showtime was the
repoed.
highlight of his day.
Seriously, drops his pizza. While he drops his pizza, he had picked up some dry cleaning for his girlfriend, which happens to now be a mess. So that's kind of because when he first comes home, she's like kind of okay with him, I guess. Um, and then she sees the wrinkled clothes
Right.
and he tells her the job's done. And she kind of has it like, we're done. I'm over this.
Hmm.
I'm over you. And we're breaking up.
Now you said that this is her apartment, which would make all the sense in the
Yeah, but
world.
then maybe
She
not.
packs a bag.
Yeah. And
She's
then is
putting
it,
stuff in a bag which looks like an army bag. It looks like they just
yeah, I saw
used
that too.
an
I was
army
like,
bag from later in the movie. We're like, I don't know,
hmm
let's just use this for
we'll
this
just
scene.
keep using the art bag prop. Where's the bag prop?
Right, right.
And well, because now Harold Ramis comes over and are they roommates?
I don't know. Okay, let's talk about his job first.
Okay. Oh, Harold Ramis's job.
Yes, because he
Okay.
is teaching a basic English class. He says out loud, I've never done this before. So I don't know
Uh-huh.
what he's been doing with his life. This
No,
is day
no.
one of his new career
Uh-huh.
teaching class. Also, these are not children. Not that his students aren't children. I mean, Bill Murray and Harold Ramis are not children. Like they
Right,
are
right.
men who are pushing 30. They're on the doorstep of
Well,
30.
even when they talk about joining the army in a little bit, I think
Yeah.
Harold Ramis's response is like, aren't we too old for that? Because they're not like you said, 18-year-old recruits or anything. They're, yeah,
This movie made me wonder how old you can be before they're like, we can't take you. Like
you're
we
done. Yeah,
cannot.
yeah,
You're like
we
a
don't need your
dried up
age
husk.
around
Yeah.
here. Yeah. I can't believe it. I have to pee. I'm
Nope.
wiggling. I'm
Go for it.
wiggling. I gotta
Awesome.
do it.
Yep.
I'll be
Do
right
it.
back. Were you just doing some light stretches over there?
No, I was just snapping.
Oh, snap.
Some light
Yeah, it's
snapping.
summertime. I'm hydrating a lot, so I'm peeing a lot.
That's
Okay.
important.
It is. It is. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
his
he's
go
teaching
ahead.
this class.
Hmm.
I assume again, I don't need a backstory, but how did this happen?
Yeah, exactly. What was your
Was he like an English major in college and was just like, this is the job I can get? Because here's the other thing is he is so easily talked into joining the army
yeah.
where I just when they pull up and Bill Murray goes, "Are you going to come in with me?" I just thought he meant like I don't know, for moral support.
Yeah,
And
I
Harold
agree.
Ramis is
I
like,
agree.
yep. And that means that he's willing to join the army.
Army. Yep. Well, they
This
kind of
is
have this
so
conversation.
weird.
So again, I wanted to see more of this class. The
Yes.
class that he's teaching is a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of adult, it looks like from all different countries, a bunch of, and all of them over, talk about them, the Bill Murray and them being in there at least
Yeah.
30. This class is filled with ladies and gentlemen at least 50 and
Oh,
over.
yes.
And I say that knowing that I'm closer to that age than before. But anyway, that's a whole
All of
different
these people are dead now,
podcast.
is what
Yeah.
Jamie's trying to say.
Oh. Mm.
Um,
But
yeah, this is the
he's
setup. This is a pilot episode to a sitcom that I would watch.
yes,
I would watch
I
this.
agree. I agree. I agree. Um, but yeah, the most he gets out of them in class one is the do run run, which is
Right.
repeated later by the fellas,
Hmm.
and son of a bitch shit. Son of a bitch
Yes.
shit,
Yeah.
right?
That's because the one guy, yeah, he asks if anybody knows a good amount of English. And he
Yes.
finally gets to just a little bit and he asks the guy what he knows. And he says, son of a bitch, shit. And that's great because I would assume that that is the first thing anybody learns
That's
in
curse
any sort
words,
of
of
foreign
course.
language. Of
Of course, you're
course.
gonna learn the naughties
Yeah.
and use them appropriately. Anyway,
Yes.
very fun, but like you said, very much like, okay, so why is this your job and what are you doing exactly?
It doesn't
Okay.
matter. And do you live together? Is this Bill
Yes.
Murray's apartment?
Yes.
Because Bill
Because
Murray
now he
said,
goes,
today I lost my job, my car, my girlfriend, and my apartment. We did not see that happen, so that's why I assumed it was hers.
that's what I thought too, that she
Yeah.
was gonna, that's hers. But she, like you said, she packs the bag and leaves. And
Yeah.
Harold Ramis comes over, kind of comes up the stairs. Now he doesn't use a key necessarily to get in. I think he might knock, but he goes right in the fridge as if he owns the place, like
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. So I was like, are they roommates? I'm not sure. Bill Murray is shooting hoops in the apartment and breaks a window.
It's awesome to shoot hoops in your living room, to
Pretty
have
fun.
a basket attached to a brick wall is
Yeah.
great. I did like the basketball bit because he throws it out the window and he asks for a guy on the street to throw it back up and he throws it through the other window,
And breaks
breaking
the
that
other
one as well.
window.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was enjoyable. There are certain things about this movie that my God, I almost said liked, and then I was like, I can't say that.
Oh
I
boy.
did not. No, most of it had to do with the two of them. Like, as we said, everything in the beginning of this movie, I have no problem with anything that we're seeing so far.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we're
exactly.
kind
I'm
of
like, this is a
developing these
setup.
characters.
And I'm like,
Yes.
we're moving along pretty
Mm-hmm.
quickly because
Yep.
now we're right in front of the army recruiting place, and we're
Yeah.
inside
Oh,
there,
well,
and the
before
whole.
that,
Mhm.
this is when they're sitting around watching TV, and Bill Murray says, I think I should join the army.
Oh
And this
yeah,
is when Harold Ramis says he give him $5 if he can do 5 push-ups.
oh yeah,
And watching Bill Murray try and do 5 push-ups was funny.
yes.
Basically, because before he even does one, he just lays flat face down on the ground. And there are times, for as charming as Bill Murray is, there
Hmm.
are so many times in this movie where Harold Ramis cannot wipe the smile off his face. He seems to
Uh,
be having so much
so much
fun
fun.
doing
Yeah.
whatever he's doing in most of these
Well,
scenes.
that's what else I see it as. Just like all those caddies, all those. It seems like the
Hmm.
cast probably all had pretty good relations together, and
Yeah,
were having like even the mud scene. That's what I think they were all having fun at it. It was a
sure.
fun time,
Yeah.
and that's what it was.
You almost said
But
Caddyshack 2, didn't you? And then you
yeah,
were like, oh no, Caddyshack 2.
I did almost. I
This
did.
is another thing where I went on the Caddyshack 2 episode and I was like, I like Caddyshack 2. I don't like Caddyshack 1. And now watching Stripes, I'm like, I think I'm right. I'm sure Caddyshack 1 is bad. I bet it's not good.
Probably are. All right. So now they go into the recruitment center, and I
Yes.
do enjoy this little interview. Again, I'm
Hmm.
in a good relation right now with
Yeah,
this
me
movie. I'm
too.
like, all
Me
right,
too.
I'm
Yes.
liking this isn't bad. Look how
Uh-huh.
young these guys are, and all
Yeah.
right. This is the whole they're asked if they're homosexual, and I think it's Harold Ramis that goes, no, but we're willing to learn,
Yes.
which I thought was funny. Um, and just kind of questions about getting them ready for the army and whatnot. But they're ready. They want to join.
Hmm.
They are. And so they do, right?
Yeah.
They in they go. That's
Yeah.
as simple as that. There's no
Yeah. And
physical, no.
so I don't know much about the Army, Jamie. You and I have both said this before.
Yeah.
I think in the Private Benjamin episode, we talked about how our fathers were in the military, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
still know nothing. It's
Yeah.
not like they taught us anything about the military or anything like that. These two are signing up for the Army as if you could quit tomorrow if you want to.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
guys, hold on a second. You're joking. I like it when Bill Murray goes to sign his name and he's like, yeah, you need to sign this to Uncle Sam here. He's like, Sammy, how you doing? Have a
Yeah.
good one. And he's like,
See,
now just write your name.
it's
Yeah,
that kind of little fun
right.
stuff that Bill Murray does that you're like, what a fun guy.
Uh-huh.
You want him around you. He's the clown in your friend
Yep.
group, right? That's always
There's
just being the goofball.
there's an ad
He's
lib
also a
so
photographer.
yeah, right. There's an ad lib so late in this movie that I got such a kick out of because I think my eyes glazed over for a
For
while.
sure mine did. Yeah.
When they're leaving, I don't know where they're staying with these ladies at in Germany. It looks like a hotel or something
Why do
like
they stay
that.
so long? Like,
Great, great question. But when they go out and the German bellboy helps them with their bags, Bill
oh,
Murray hands him cash, and then the guy goes to put it away and he digs change out and he goes, "Here's some more worthless money for you." And I just love that. And it's just a throwaway line. I'm like, I'm sure it wasn't written down on the page, but I
no, it's
really
just a
enjoyed
little
it. So yeah,
Bill Murray, blah, blah,
every
blah.
now and then there's stuff like that, but there's not enough of it.
Mm. Oh, and it's stringed together
Yeah.
awfully. All right. All right. Well, this is now we arrive on campus, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we
Well, this is
see
where they're about to take the bus. They're taking the bus in. This is where they
into
meet.
onto campus. That's right. We
Yes,
meet the
yeah. This
military
is
police ladies, right?
right.
Hmm.
Yes. We meet what appears to be the only two women in the army.
The only two women that we, oh no, do we see the one? Yeah, the only two women in the army,
The,
which is
the, the
great.
only two women in the army.
Do we not see, or do we see what's her, PJ? Is that her name? Do we see her boobs? Because I think they're the few women in the movie that we don't see their
No,
boobs.
we don't. I mean, you can see her boobs. If you watch Halloween, I think you see her boobs in Halloween.
But in this movie,
If
we don't,
people are
because
interested, I guess. Yes.
every other woman that we meet in this movie is topless at some point, for the most part, right? Other
You're
than these
right.
two,
I mean, you're saying every other woman. We
the
don't meet a whole
girlfriend,
lot, but
well, and all the
yes.
girls that are in the
Yeah,
wrestling scene, for
I'm
the most
sure.
part.
Yeah, I feel like that. All right, we'll get to that because
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot I'm unsure about. But this is where we meet. I like how Judge Reinhold is either looking to buy or sell drugs. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah. We're kind of introduced to this platoon of characters, but very lightly. So, John Candy is
Ox,
Ox,
yes. Mm-hmm.
and he's he can't quite be the complete funny guy because that's Bill Murray's role, but he definitely is kind of the he's like playing cards and kind of
Yeah,
swindling the one
right.
guy.
Yes.
And even like later when they do go to Italy, he looks at the one guy. So there is one guy that's kind of like there's
Uh,
two of them, I think, that are kind of supposed to be a
That's
little
that
bit
same
goofy.
that's the same guy. That's the same doof.
Oh,
The guy that he's tricking when they're playing poker and the guy who he tries to get make his
to
bed.
make his
That's the
bed.
same guy. Yes.
Okay.
It's a whole platoon, I guess. I'm sure I'm not using that word right.
No, I think that
Um,
is what they are.
of a bunch of guys, and we really don't meet a whole lot of them, even though they're always there. Like if you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
see them, I'm like, oh yeah, these are all the same guys, but I don't know what any of their names are. There's some guy with
Only
a red
Ox.
bandana
Yeah.
who becomes very important late in this
Yes,
movie.
at the
I was
end
like,
because he
yeah,
wants to kill everybody. He's excited to kill, and then he's that one.
no, 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 no. There's
Oh,
a guy, he appears to be Hispanic and he's wearing
yes,
a
that
red
one. Yeah,
bandana.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought they were two different people. Anyway, whatever.
So hard to keep
Where did the
track of
red
those fucking
bandana come
two.
from? Halfway through the movie, the guy has a red bandana.
I
And
know
I'm
at
like,
graduation, he's
new,
like,
yes.
yeah. Mhm.
Actually, I think you're right. Now that I think about them waking up, they fell asleep. Anyway,
Oh yeah, when
yeah.
they mhm.
So there's not many personalities here. Later on, when they're all introducing themselves, which does this happen in the military? There's a lot of does this happen in
Oh
the
yeah,
military questions
I
I have.
know. There's like an orientation in college when you have
Yes.
to like sit around and say your likes and your
Yeah.
dislikes and maybe play that trust fall game or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that really happens at the
Even
army, but it
even the
happens
old
here.
sergeant turned his chair around backwards, like he's really gonna just
Yeah,
rap to
like we're
these
gonna
guys.
really like he was
Yes.
the yeah
Yeah,
yeah.
but John
Well,
Candy
wait,
says that he
before
has
they do,
like anger issues. I'm like,
yes,
come on. I
yeah.
can't. You're
Which
not
and then we
selling
see
this.
him no, because there's no point that he gets it.
No.
We also see, which I guess that's a army thing too. They show them getting haircuts, like John Candy gets a haircut, but they most of them, some of them get shaved cuts, but not
Yes.
Ramis and Bill
No.
Murray get just stylish shorter
No.
haircuts
Yeah,
where they're
they basically get like little boy haircuts. And
yes
so does Judge Reinhold for some reason. I
yes
feel like the three of them were like, no, I'm sorry. People
shaved
know who
head is
we
not a
are.
good look for us. Yeah.
Right,
Hmm.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, I found that very funny and super strange
Yeah.
because they
Um,
all walk out. They they, they walk out with like, oh, they just did a
Yeah, like they
trim. It's
just got a
nice of them.
trim
Yeah.
job and they're like, yeah. So there's that. And then, like you said, they have their little group chat intro.
Yes.
I do remember this line. I don't know why. When Bill Murray introduces himself, he says, "Chicks dig me because I rarely wear underwear."
Yes.
I mean, okay, I'll take it.
I guess that's
Um,
a thing
I,
women are into.
I mean, I think that Bill Murray is into himself
I
in
think
this
it's
movie
just
or
Bill
his
Murray.
character.
Right.
And I don't
Yes.
know either
There's a
I
lot
just
of
have,
confidence. Bill
yes.
Murray exudes confidence, like
Mm-hmm.
to a crazy degree
Mm-hmm.
in, I believe, every role he's played. And so I can only imagine in real life too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, do pe- Here's another thing. When their buses pull up, there's just tanks being driven around. Does this happen? Do people just drive tanks down the streets of
There's
like
also just a
military
big tank
bases?
parking lot when he chases him outside because he's going AWOL. It's just a parking lot of tanks.
I would assume you can't just get into that parking lot. I'd assume it's behind a fence or something.
Not if you're joining. I mean,
I guess if
I
you're
don't know.
there, what are you gonna do? Steal a government weapon
Well,
and just
these guys
drive it to
do. They drive
Germany?
it right off. Yeah, exactly. All right.
So confusing. Oh, and this is also where we meet John Larroquette, who is a this man is a tall drink of water. Like I guess I always knew that he was a pretty tall guy on Night Court, but he's also
Mm.
standing with Bull a lot of Night Court.
Oh, yeah, who is
He's
also
there when
very
they're
tall. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's there when they're getting off the bus and everyone is so much shorter than him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and again, his position is he's not their sergeant. He's not in charge of that platoon, but he's not quite, doesn't have his own building named after him like the one guy does.
But he's also oh yeah, I guess that's the old guy that shows up at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Who they're watching his house. Oh, okay. Anyway, um, but he is in charge of them because at graduation he's like, "Where is my platoon?" But I know he's not a drill sergeant, but he
Right.
does appear to be in charge of them at some capacity.
And again, this was our issue. We don't know the order. So is he a lieutenant? He's not a sergeant.
And
He's
I
not
would
a,
also assume if your drill sergeant gets blown up, they have another one that they can bring in.
they could
It's
sub
not
somebody in.
guys
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. You're already screwed. Now you're really screwed. But they pull an all-nighter. They work it out, but that's later. So
That's a lot later.
he is a bit of a pervy. Every time we see him, he's checking out the naked girl. Which again,
Yeah.
there are no women in this army except for the ones that he has a convenient
Right.
lookout to from his office
Yes,
with
yes.
his little
Yeah.
telescopy thing. What's it
And
called?
you said, is PJ Souls and Sean Young naked in this movie? I don't know. I've seen Halloween, but I don't know her boobs enough to be able to tell if that was
Oh,
her or
if she
not.
was in that,
Because
yeah.
because I guess, I mean, it's 1981. You can't be gay in the military, but
Mhm.
clearly there were women in the military, but I don't see any women at graduation.
But again, why are
Uh,
the women's showers
why are they,
so close
right?
to his office?
Yeah,
And where are all these women for the rest of the movie?
exactly. Exactly.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yes.
But this is where one of our plots gets dropped, right?
Oh
Because
my
one
God,
of
I was
the
so
again,
confused.
another higher up comes in and says, "Listen, I need you to pick a platoon that's going to." I thought their job was to be photographed with this new, like I was like, "What? So do you need a good-looking platoon?"
Yes.
But he's the this higher up army guy comes in and says
Hmm.
essentially like I have this really rad tank, the EM-50. I thought it was a tank, but we see it's a VW bus.
Well, even John
And
Larroquette, I like it when the guy's like, you know about the EV-87, and John Larroquette's like, like a tank? The guy's like,
yeah,
no.
yeah. But he needs to find at the end of the day after this training, their training is complete. One of these platoons should kind of be the winner as to who will
Yes.
go and take care and then be the spokespeople, say, or the spokes army people for this new
Yeah.
weapon.
I assume go watch it, make sure it's not stolen, test it out, make sure the guns work, whatever. And that's your first military job.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I do find it funny how John Larroquette is put in charge, specifically in charge of choosing the group that would go do
Hmm.
this. And
But
at
we don't even see.
graduation, the old guy's like, yeah, they're the ones that are going to go. And he's like, what?
Mhm.
No,
But like in other movies where there's like like maybe there was, we don't even see other platoons training and
no.
see that comparison or like there was this other platoon that he was thinking about
Yeah.
picking.
Oh,
We
this
only see these guys.
disheveled ragtag group of monsters that
Yeah.
are singing songs and dancing around. Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
ones that are chosen.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
they could keep a beat, man. Um, when did they, so I thought I missed something, but there's a lineup now. The
Hmm.
sergeant comes in and has them all line up. And I guess at some point they escaped.
I thought I
They all
missed
got
something
out.
too.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
thought I
when
missed
did,
something.
because
Yes,
he's asking for them to
yes.
confess to
Yep.
who was the ones that got out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because Harold and Bill look at each other like, all right, we'll confess. And only Harold steps up, of course. Bill does not.
I do like the
S
Bill like leaning forward
yeah, like
to take a step and
yeah.
then he stops. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And here's another thing that's not quite explored enough in this movie is Bill Murray's a jerk. Like he's a total jerk.
Hmm.
And at every turn, the entire group is being punished for things that he did. There's
Yes.
like one part in this movie where John Candy's like, way to go, you jerk.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm
You
like, we
guys should
need
be
to have more
beating
upset.
him. Yeah.
Well, and every time they like, because they will get to it, but the Ramis and Murray form a relationship with our military police ladies.
Hmm.
And because they do, every time they're in trouble, the military police ladies, when the whole platoon gets in trouble
Yeah.
for the mud wrestling, but not these two
Nope.
because the military police ladies saved them.
Yeah.
The whole platoon now gets kidnapped by Russians or Czechoslovakians. But was there? Yeah. And then but not these two because they're with the military police ladies.
No.
And there's no animosity there. There's no like,
No,
guys,
not at
how did
all.
you guys get out so
No.
easy? Like where how come you
No.
didn't anyway.
Every time something bad happens, these two are rewarded with sex,
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else gets in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bizarre. So we missed or we skipped over like there's some montage stuff of training and all that, which
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
None
Uh-huh.
of it's all that funny. None of it's all that interesting. I did find it kind of fun when John Larroquette's like, all right, let's go. I gotta meet who's my squad, which is my squad. He
Oh yeah.
watches all these guys like do the ropes course really well. And then this guy's like, oh, there's them. And they're just running down the hill screaming. And
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
and they just like run into logs and all fall over and stuff. Kind of funny, kind of okay, I guess. Um, but there's more of that could have been done. More of these
Yeah.
courses, more of these exercises. You could have, I think you could have had more fun with this stuff. But
Instead of the mud wrestling with
they
the ladies, we
breeze,
could have had
yeah,
some
they breeze
silliness.
through however long basic training is.
Right.
Basic training in this movie seems like it might be 5 days.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't think that, I don't know much about the military. I don't think it's a week.
I don't think so either.
Okay.
But
All
but for
right.
these guys, goes by like a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about how Murray is like, you know, the antagonist. That's the right
Mm,
word I'm looking for. Yep.
yeah, he's the villain of
So
the piece, is what I'm
he's
gonna
got
say.
a he's got beef automatically with the sergeant who
Yes.
pulls him into he goes, "You're gonna come into my office," and they're hanging out in the restroom. And this is a whole thing where he tells him to hit him and
Yep.
hit me. Come on, you want to, and then kind of sucker punches Murray because Murray swings and misses.
That's not a
And
sucker punch. When somebody goes to hit you, you can do
what's a
whatever you
sucker
want.
punch?
A sucker punch is if somebody's not paying attention, you hit them.
Oh, because
Yeah.
you're a sucker because you
Right.
weren't paying attention. Okay, I thought it was like you got hit in the stomach and you had to
No, no, no,
sucker
no.
punch. You know.
No, but what I do find is funny is Bill Murray's like, yeah, I would love to hit you, but you're my sergeant. So the sergeant goes, I'll take my hat off now. I'm not a
Yeah.
sergeant. I don't
No,
think
we're
that's
not.
how that works.
Mhm.
There's no way that's how it works. Also, Bill Murray, we just watched you a few scenes ago not be able to do 5 push-ups. I don't, I wouldn't fight anyone, even an old
No.
man. If I couldn't do
Mm-mm.
5 push-ups, there's no way I'm getting into a fight with anyone.
No. And you don't know, it seemed, but again, in some ways, this then leaded to nothing because I thought, oh,
No,
okay,
nothing at
he's
all.
going to hurt him or he's going to, but then he just says, like, yeah, well, this is that. And now, I don't know, is Harold Ramis having a sexy dream? He's like mumbling to
What
himself
is
and he's like,
what?
don't worry, I'll
It's
respect you in the morning. Just
I'll
come
respect
on
you
in.
more. I'll
Yeah.
respect you more. Just put more whipped cream. And I love how he wakes up and immediately is like, "Oh my God, I got to tell Bill
I
Murray
gotta
about the
tell my
dream."
I wanted to hear what he was dreaming about. I'm like,
So
is
did
what's
I.
happening?
Yes. There's nothing less interesting than hearing somebody else's dreams, but in that moment, I'd be like, I got to hear all about
I
this
want to
now."
know. Yeah.
Right?
But when he goes to check his buddy's
I'm gonna
bed
be
who's
like,
bunk
"Bill, I
above
was
him.
dreaming about your ex-girlfriend. We were in that apartment. She had whipped
Yeah,
cream. It was great."
I was into it. Uh, but Bill Murray has escaped, and like we said earlier,
Mhm.
he's in the parking lot of tanks, just trying to sneak off and away.
Yeah.
And
I like to think that
Ramus,
he's pulling a Jamie Lorello's father right now.
my father was not quiet about his escape.
Yeah,
But
he's just going to walk out, just walk
that's what he's
away.
thinking. That's his thinking is he'll
Okay.
just kind of sneak off. And he's even mumbling like, she'll let me back in the apartment. Like I'll get there and it'll
Yeah.
all be good. Like I still
I'll get my
can.
cabbie job back.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
And like you said, these fellas obviously didn't look into what a commitment joining the army is. So, but Ramus comes out in his long johns and he basically attacks Murray and it's like, you can't leave. You convinced me to be here, and now
Right.
we. What does he say? Like, because it's true. Earlier, when they're going at what we didn't mention when they go into the recruiting center, Bill Murray's like, it's it's all these vacations to tropical
Yes.
places. He's like selling him on the army, and now Ramus is bringing up all that stuff. Like, what happened to all those things? There, it's not here. When does it happen?
I understand why Goldie Hawn maybe would have thought that. How is it possible that Bill Murray thinks about the army the same way Goldie Hawn did? Why do they have these two similar thoughts about going to exotic locations? Like, didn't Goldie Hawn get in there and was like, no, no, this isn't the army I signed up for. I
Yeah,
signed up for
yeah.
the
I
other
signed up for the
army.
one that we
Right.
travel a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, this is maybe the dumbest question I have
Is it?
about this episode.
Okay.
Go back, listeners. There's plenty. Um, Bill Murray's leaving and he is dressed in like a red jacket and he's
Oh
got
yeah.
jeans. And I always thought, and I'm sure I'm wrong, but I don't know how wrong I am. I always thought going to the military was like going to jail. Like you just kind of show up with whatever you got and they
Right.
give you everything you need there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Mm-hmm.
wrong? Like you don't pack a suitcase full of jackets and other clothes,
Like your
right?
last belongings. Maybe you have a few. What? I mean, they all have civilian clothes
Yeah, you're right.
when they go
Yeah.
to the mud wrestling. So,
Okay.
but which I don't think is accurate. I
And
agree with you.
I guess you could bring money to gamble with
I
too.
don't think so. I don't think
I
that's why they
didn't.
get in trouble. That's why they get in trouble, I think,
Okay.
because none of that is legal. Well, I wanted to see that too. When they do sneak out,
Yeah.
I wanted to see the sneak out.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how they got there, what was the plan before we just showed up. But anyway,
Wait, are
we're
you
not
talking
there
about
yet.
you're talking about mud wrestling, or you're talking about
Yeah,
the thing that we didn't see where Harold Ramis and Bill Murray did something that got them in trouble?
both,
Okay.
both.
Yeah, because that was that, and I know we're going back, but that was the thing I was most confused about. I was like, I think I
Hmm.
just maybe looked down at my notes for a minute. I didn't miss anything,
I
did
didn't
I?
see, I know when they confessed to like their
Then
night out. Mhm.
then I looked online, Jamie, because I was curious, especially
Were
near
you?
the end of this movie when I was not paying attention anymore. Um, there is a extended cut of this movie,
Mm.
2 hours and 5 minutes. Could
What
you
do they do?
imagine?
What do they
I
do?
I did not look at what I did not look at what the
Yeah.
difference was.
Uh-uh.
I
Uh-uh.
couldn't imagine. This felt very long as
I
is.
agree.
And it was only
I
like an
agree.
hour
Oh,
42.
in my timeline, it was 2:35.
Oh, I swear to God, if you told me this movie was 3 hours, I'd be like, yep,
It was right.
sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, sorry. This
No, don't
is
apologize.
oh, so they're doing the ropes course, and the sergeant, Bill Murray's been bad mouthing this guy the whole time. He
Hmm.
got
Oh,
punched.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
One of
How
the
did the
guys can't,
sergeant
yeah.
fall? What is
Well,
that?
one of the guys can't climb the rope, and the sergeant is giving him a bunch of shit, and Bill Murray just can't shut his mouth. He goes, "Hey, he said he can't do it. Leave him alone. Why don't
Yeah.
you do it?" And instead of
Oh,
punishing Bill Murray, which is what you're supposed to do,
yeah. Yeah.
the
He
sergeant's
tries to
like,
prove him.
"I'll show you," and he climbs the rope. And then in another movie, they're shooting mortars and they blow him up.
Yeah. Yeah. And off. Yeah. And he falls. And this is
Yeah,
where now,
he should be dead,
yeah.
first of
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. He
I'm,
timbers over. Now, Bill
yes.
Murray does look concerned here when he first
Mhm.
falls down. And that's why I'm like, oh, maybe this is where they mend their relationship somehow.
Yes. Should have
No.
happened at graduation. You have
Yes.
earned my respect. That is how this movie should have ended.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
No, that's not what we got. Yeah.
no.
Anyway. Um,
So now that he's dead, now
well,
that
not
he's
dead.
well,
He's
now no,
injured
no,
enough to be
sorry, you're
not
right.
there. Yeah.
He exists later in this movie.
Yeah.
He's gone. And very early in this movie, when they're sitting around introducing themselves, Bill Murray stands up and is like, "Hey, this guy, he might not be around forever. I want to be your leader when he goes."
Yeah.
And I guess everyone's like, "All right, you're a leader now, Bill Murray," because we just cut to them out on the town.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
night out on the town.
Hmm. For mud wrestling and
They
dancing.
go to what I assumed was a strip club that
Hmm.
made sense based on the sign.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is not what's happening in here.
Mm-mm.
But here's okay.
Well,
So
there is some dancing but there, yeah.
well let's talk about the employees of this. Oh, did you notice that the MC was Dave Thomas
I
from Strange
did.
Brew?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
Yes.
did.
Um, so there are mud wrestling ladies who are wearing bikinis
Hmm.
or swimwear. Some have a tasteful one piece on. The waitresses are topless.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there
The
appear
bartender is topless.
yes, and then
Hmm.
there appear to be men from Chippendales who are
Oh,
bouncers.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I don't know. And these guys are going goofy for these mud wrestling ladies, and I'm like, your topless waitress is standing right next to
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
isn't that? I guess maybe if I were in that situation, I'd also be really excited about mud wrestling, but I couldn't imagine myself being that excited about mud wrestling with topless
With
waitresses
the
around
topless
me.
waitresses, right, right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
again, you're
is
in the
this,
army. You haven't seen ladies in allegedly in a long time, right?
yes, we've established 5 days.
Yeah. Well, there's just there's a little bit of action here where we see the dancing and the naked, like we're just kind of, I guess, establishing this place a little bit.
Yeah.
And then then this is kind of fun when Bill Murray is convincing Ox or John Candy to join to wrestle these girls. He's like, "Come on, you used to be a wrestler," and he's like, "But I
Right.
wrestled guys," and he's like, "That's all right." He's like, "You're a weird mutant killer. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna like
Mm-hmm.
that little pep talk." I enjoyed. I enjoyed seeing the chemistry between those two.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, "Okay, this is the kind of stuff I maybe
Mm-hmm.
signed up for."
I
And
didn't
then he,
mind it either. I
hmm
said before, I don't quite understand what's going on. It appears
I
that Dave
didn't.
Thomas is auctioning. First, I thought he was auctioning the women off.
No, it's
When he's
wrestling.
like, let's start at $100. I was like, $100 for what? But it
Yeah.
appears these men are paying to wrestle. And then I guess if you win, you get your money back. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't understand how it works.
But I think it's over $400
I didn't.
that John Candy gives up. 400 in
Okay.
1981, that's got to be like almost $1,000
It's a good
nowadays.
amount. Yeah. It's good cash right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He convinces him to wrestle these ladies,
Wrestle the ladies. Yep.
and there's a lot of it, but
And that's a scene that
it's
goes on a lot
fine.
longer than
Yes,
we need to.
it goes on a lot longer than we need to, but there was something nice about just watching John Candy do stuff. Just being
Yeah.
like, oh, can we just put this military movie on the back burner? Can we just watch John Candy like do Three Stooges routines and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hop
With
around
some
in
muddy
mud?
ladies. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wins by finally, and they take him down quite a bit. And I like it when he
Uh-huh.
goes in the corner and Bill Murray's kind of like his, what did we decide
His
they
cor-
are in a
it's
match?
just a
His
corner
corner
man.
guy, his corner man.
It's
And he
just a
just
corner
throws
man.
water in his face and he's like, come on, go back out there. You got this. And he's like,
Uh-huh.
okay. He wins by essentially pulling all of their string bikini tops off.
Yes.
And then the cops come because I guess this is a big bust.
This is illegal. Is either nothing that's happening right now is illegal or everything about this
Everything.
establishment is
Exactly.
illegal.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I
Yeah.
assume the cops are like, you got to put shirts on those dudes, you got to put
Yeah.
shirts on the waitresses, and this mud wrestling has got to stop.
And it's like the local cops or the cops and also the military police show up.
Why? Okay, so PJ Souls and Sean Young show up. Oh, they also found them. We completely glossed over when Bill Murray was trying to escape. They pull up when
Oh
Bill
yeah,
and
when Bill
Harold
Murray's
Ramis are going at it and arguing with each other. They
but
pull
they
up,
let them
break it
off
up.
the hook.
Yes.
Yes, yes. They say we're going to pretend like we didn't see
Yes.
anything and just drive them back.
Mhm.
But that's where the initial kind or the secondary flirting and
Yeah.
connection kind of begins with these two
Yes.
military police ladies
Uh-huh.
and these two guys.
Yeah.
But now that this bust has happened, these military police ladies take only Ramus and only
Hmm.
Murray into their custody. And for some reason, they're going to drop them off at
They have
the,
driven a Jeep. They've driven a Jeep off grounds into
Mhm,
town for
mhm.
some
To
reason,
collect these two.
perhaps following them to where they were
Hmm
going, and then collect, as you said, just the two of them. The
hmm
real cops are there for the rest of these
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, they drive them back and are just, they don't drive them to their barracks like they did
No.
before. They drive them to the house of the big wig in charge of the military or whatever, because he's out of town and they're watching his house.
Yes.
And these buffoons are basically going to get these women fired. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
don't
yeah,
understand.
they go right away. Bill Murray's like, I've always wanted to go in this house. And this is where
Hmm.
the scene happens where Bill Murray, he's in the kitchen with his little lady and he's tickling her with a spatula and with an ice
Uh-huh.
cream scoop, and it's uncomfortable and it's awkward.
It's a
And
lot of
you,
weird, like sexy kitchen utensil play, which is very
yeah,
strange. He has
yeah,
an ice cream scoop at one
yeah,
point,
yeah,
and
it's
she's
weird.
like, "What are you going to do with that?" And we've
And
seen
it looks like
everything.
he's tucking it in her vagina.
Yes,
Like, what's
yes,
happening?
exactly.
And she's just giggling away.
Yeah.
And then it's weird. There, I guess it's supposed to be funny, and I appreciate its humor, but it's you're so confused by this point that even if
Hmm.
it's supposed to land, it doesn't. Because then they make their way upstairs to the guy's bedroom, and we later they come out of what do you call one of
Like a
those
crate, like a
it's not a
like
crate,
at the
it's like
bottom,
a
well, like a chest of like a chest
yes,
at
it's like a
the
chest.
at the foot of your bed.
Yes. They
Yes.
come out of that as if they've been making love in there.
Kind
And
of
then
funny because it's barely big enough for one of
exactly,
them. Like,
exactly.
okay, it's like a clown car.
And then in the meantime, Harold Ramis and Sean Young have this force field
They're
foreplay that they
they're
do where
playing
she's like,
it's like a no touching game.
yeah, like we're gonna play force field. You can't break my force field and touch me. But then they
Uh-huh.
start making it. So essentially, these two have gotten laid, and when they go back the next day to, or actually, it's
Yeah.
the middle of the night because they
It's
say
the
it's two.
middle of the night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they go back to their platoon, and they are happy as pigs and shit because they
Yeah.
just got laid, and the
Everybody else
rest
is
of
all
the
bummed out and
platoon,
upset because they
yes.
had to be returned to base by the police.
And they were
And
told
are
that they might have to do basic training all
yes.
over again
Uh-huh.
for
Yeah.
their antics.
Oh,
Yep.
another five
Mhm.
days, Jamie. I don't know if I could handle it.
I know. Another intense 5 days of, I don't know,
Of
doing
learning
rope
how to
courses.
march. It appears that their test at the end of basic training
It's
is
just,
can you march in a straight line and twirl a gun?
I was confused. I was like, are they in the color guard or are
No,
they?
when they're spinning the rifles like it's the color guard, I was ready for them to throw it up in the air.
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't even do that. They're singing songs. Why not? Just lean into it.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Oh man.
this is so strange because Harold Ramis is like, dude, this is fine. We'll cram for it. Let's go. I can teach you. He's trying to teach them. And then there's like unearned racial conflict suddenly.
Yes.
I was
It's
like,
really awkward. Another awkward
yes,
where you're like, where's this
we
happening?
haven't
Yeah,
seen any
Ramus makes some kind
interaction.
of comment about like
Yeah,
have
like
like
black guys
rhythm
help
like
the
the
white
black
guys. Yeah.
guys. Yeah, yeah. And then John Candy has beef with one of the black guys, and
Yeah.
you're like, where's this come? Again, is this the aggression that he was talking about earlier?
We
It's
haven't seen it
weird,
before this moment.
and some fights bring out, but that's when then we have Bill Murray shouting, screaming,
Yes.
shouting so loud that I was like, what's happening in this movie? And he delivers his sort of underdog speech to them,
Mm-hmm.
which gets them motivated.
It really
And
does. He talks about their mutts. Let's all cry at Old Yeller. I
yeah, yeah,
didn't
yeah,
quite,
they all
it
kind of agree
wasn't
that they
connecting
cry.
with me.
Me neither, but it got these guys. And so now they're going to practice
Hmm.
their color guard routine through the night
Yeah,
in some warehouse, right? Or
it
I guess.
it appears to be a military warehouse,
Hmm.
yes.
Hmm.
Where they okay, so graduation is at 2 in the afternoon. Now, Jamie, I have stayed up very late before. I've
Of
even
course.
stayed up all night.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever slept till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know, especially not on a concrete floor in a
Right.
military warehouse surrounded by a bunch of military guys. They all sleep in
They
till,
sleep hard. They sleep
yes.
hard.
And graduation
Well,
started an hour
to be
ago.
fair, what a night. They were at a mud
It
wrestling, got
has been a night.
arrested,
Yeah, you're
then they
right.
did some training. It's been a night. And the 5 days prior, they were in basic training. So they're very fatigued. So,
We don't even see a mess hall in this movie. How do we not have an eating scene or a food fight or something?
no, no, it's a
God,
very
it's
weird
crazy.
sliver of what the army is. But
Yeah,
they
most of the army is eating, right? I'm pretty sure.
it is. They when they finally do kind of wake up and realize now they're late to graduation, graduation is
Hmm.
happening. When they enter graduation, they have their own unique little march that they do. It's like a two-step kind of
Yep,
march.
they're
They have
singing.
their hats on backwards. They're
Hmm.
singing. Yeah, they're singing
Their
boom
shirts are
shakalaka.
their shirts are unbuttoned.
Yeah, they're
They were
just the
just wearing
cash group.
bandanas.
And the crowd
Oh my God.
loves it. The
Jamie, I
crowd
wrote it when
loves
they were
it.
marching and dancing. I wrote in my notes, this is embarrassing. And the crowd erupts in applause.
Yep. 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 The crowd's
And
going
the
wild.
and the main military guy who I assume whose house they were in earlier is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
these are the types of go-getters that are going to be leading
Well,
us.
because they confess that because he says, "Where's your sergeant?" And their sergeant was injured and hasn't been around. But so you
Yes.
mean they came together and they banded together and they still put themselves on display? These are the go-getters I need.
Hmm.
Let's get them to Italy.
Sure. Wait, they were
Now,
only an hour late for graduation?
right, right.
These are the best guys.
They look sloppy as fuck. They have their
I'm
own
pretty
dance
sure
routine, but
the one that's in charge, Bill Murray, I'm pretty sure he's mocking us through this whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, these guys are
Let's get them
great.
going. Let's get them on. And this is where, again, I'm confused. I don't know what's happened in this movie, but I'm happy if it ends here because I'm like, okay,
Me too.
then my
Yeah.
team won. They get to go to Italy. I love it because they arrive at the
I would love
barracks.
if the movie ended with them just putting on berets and getting on an airplane and
Yeah,
roll
and just
credits. Great.
bye. We did it.
Yeah.
We're yeah. But now we go to Italy, and I love it because the barracks, their sleeping quarters, look exactly the same as the other sleeping quarters, except there's a sign that says "Your ambassadors, American
I
ambassadors."
am so glad I wrote down in my notes. I was like, just in case we're not sure, there's a sign that says
Yeah.
you are now in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Mm-hmm.
same set.
Same exact set.
couldn't believe
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And they finally find out what they are there to do, which is to guard a secret weapon, which is just a green Winnebago.
Yes, a souped up green Winnebago that's in its own airport hangar.
It
Um,
looks like the Ninja Turtles van.
it looks, yeah, it looks like a Mystery Machine Ninja Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a, well, P.S. The sergeant is back
Oh,
to
yeah,
lead
yeah.
them, but
Yeah,
that
he
kind of
shows up.
goes yes and nowhere. You know what I mean? Like you're just
Nowhere.
like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna now. It's like I'm gonna kick your asses, but then no, because he's still
No.
not really the one in charge. It's still what's his name calling the
Right.
shots,
Yeah.
right? Pete, what's his name? That the night court guy.
John
Mm-hmm.
Larroquette.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. He's still in charge. I don't know what, like, okay. Because here's what I'm really confused about. That guy is a drill sergeant. His whole job is to handle basic training. Once one group of people graduates, he has another group
I
come
would
in
think,
that
but
he
no,
should be
he
in
was
charge
sent.
of.
Instead,
Right.
he was sent to Italy to continue to be in charge of this group.
And why are PJ Souls and Sean Young in Germany?
I don't
Aren't
know.
they military police
I don't know.
at the training? Like, wouldn't they still be there? Why are they in Germany? What's going on in this movie?
Exactly. Exactly. This is where it all just goes, what are you doing?
And
So we're,
it's so funny too because Bill Murray and Harold Ramis are in charge of watching this thing.
yes.
And just so we kind of as an audience maybe know what's going to happen, just out of nowhere, Harold Ramis goes, too bad the girls are in Germany. And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Aren't they in the United States? Aren't
Mm-hmm.
they back in
Mm-hmm.
America and you're
Mm-hmm.
in Italy? You all had to cross the sea, but just go to different countries that are within driving distance.
Yeah, exactly. That we're in. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So Bill Murray decides, why don't they take this thing out for a little test spin? I guess they tell it now it's the middle of the night,
Yeah.
but I guess they say that they're taking it. What do they say for a cleaning?
To get washed,
Yeah.
like take it to a car wash.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
apparently the other guys who were in charge of this said okay to this. Said that's great.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic. You must be that super elite team that was brought in from the United States. We've just been here for years. Yeah, you can take it for a wash. That's fine. Because John Larroquette, for some reason, is trying to impress some lady, not Italian. Nobody is Italian. Like, there's
No.
no sign
No.
that we're in Italy. But he brings the lady and is like, hey, you got to check out this Ninja Turtle van. It is awesome. And it's totally gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then John Larroquette decides that it's probably better if they don't tell the military that this has happened. And he's just going to take all the rest of them, John Candy and associates, and put them in a truck with a bunch of weapons and go
Mm-hmm.
get the Winnebago back.
Well, because he is taking a lady friend to visit the
Right.
Winnebago,
Not
and
Italian.
yet not Italian lady, right? And when he discovers it's been missing, and then yeah, they're just gonna they think that it's been stolen by Czechoslovakians,
Oh,
Russians.
no.
They do
No,
they, or
they
do
know
they
who took
know?
it.
Oh, they
Yeah.
do. Okay.
Because their drill sergeant's like, those two idiots won't even know what to do with it. Like, it shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
be that
Mm-hmm.
difficult to catch them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what they go to do.
Mm-hmm.
They drive this Ninja Turtle van to Germany without any problem
Right. No questions.
to apparently a hotel, a pretty fancy hotel
Yep. Yep. Yep.
where their ladies are staying because they're in Germany on vacation, maybe? Don't know.
I don't know because aren't they in there? Oh no, they're not in their gear. Are they in their gear?
No,
No. Yeah.
no, no, they're in fun little sweaters. Um, red and blue for some
Oh,
reason
that's right.
because they're
That's right.
Americans.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's what they're doing. And I don't know, are they there for a day, 2 days, a long weekend?
It does seem like they didn't just come for the night to say, "Hey, check out." And the girls know because they're military. They're like, "Oh, this is that new van. We're
Right.
checking
Oh,
it
yeah.
out."
Yeah, they
Oh, and
do.
when they enter the van,
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's distress signals coming up. He's like, "Hey,
Yes.
man, did you leave
Well,
a alarm
yeah.
on in your van?"
Now it's only because somehow John Larroquette and John Candy and friends are immediately intercepted by the Russians and taken prisoner
Yes.
in Czechoslovakia.
Hmm.
Is it just because they're driving around in a army truck?
I,
Is that
I,
why? Like in a
yeah,
Winnebago, they weren't going to be stopped?
yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
understand. I don't understand.
I don't, but this again, I don't think we're supposed to.
You don't need a plot in your movie that has had no plot up to this point. The movie's almost over. There's like a half hour left. I don't
I
need a
know.
plot.
And now we're adding this. I know. Well, the coordinates come in and they find out that
Yeah.
their platoon, the numbers come in, they're like, that number is our platoon. Our platoon is in trouble. I love it that Ramis is like, well, we shouldn't bother with that. I don't want to go to Czechoslovakia. And Bill Murray's like, we have to go. And he's like, come on, what does he say? Czechoslovakia is like Oklahoma.
It's like
Like
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
It's
Like
like driving to
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. I
Yeah.
love it when he's like, I got the shit beat out of me once in
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
But
Yeah,
off they
so
go, pretending to be
yeah,
tourists to get and lost tourists to get into the
it's kind of
Bill
fun.
Murray has a plan. Yeah, kind of a
It's
little
good.
fun.
Yeah, when Bill Murray can just riff and do his thing and pretend,
But then how
buddy up.
again, it's more of like what's happening, what's going on because they finally do get in
Hmm.
and now it's just
But then immediately, like they get in. Okay, so they get past the first. I'm gonna just call them toll booth people. They get past those toll booth guys. Then they get
it's
into the
security,
yes.
but it's
Well,
okay.
I think it's a checkpoint. Whatever. Um, they get into the main area of the Russian camp in Czechoslovakia. Whatever. Europe. I have no idea what's going on with you guys. And then Bill Murray gets out and like gives some guys vodka and then goes back in and immediately everybody's like, well, I don't think that van should be here.
Yeah, yeah,
Guns are
yeah.
turned on them. And then they figure out I get like the whole time Harold Ramis is reading the manual.
Oh
So
yeah.
then he learns how to shoot the guns and fire and everything. And Bill Murray and PJ Souls get out and they rescue everyone.
Yes. They were starting to be get tortured, some of them, one by one. They rescue
Yeah,
the one
that
dopey
dumb guy
guy.
was getting really
Mm-hmm.
beat up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when I kind of stopped paying attention to the movie. Like they're running around shooting guns, chasing, escaping. If you have anything to add to the end of this movie, please do.
Mm-hmm.
But I got nothing.
No,
They
no. The
escape with them.
chase. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. They escape with them. There's some
Uh-huh.
flames. There's more shouting. A
Yep.
tank crashes. They save everybody. They return to the US. And then there's this
Oh,
little wrap up
yes.
that happens as they get off the plane.
Every
Um,
movie, every comedy, like it's like everybody watched Animal House and was like, well, I guess we have to let the audience know what all of these characters are doing. And I didn't write down most of them, but I did think it was very, very insulting
yes.
that PJ Souls realized her dream of being on the cover of Penthouse.
Oh yeah. I don't
Come
know what
on.
that is all about.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Like she's a military police officer. And that's your big joke at the end. Like nobody else really has anything that is that like insulting to their
Oh, Ox.
character
I
in this
like it because
movie.
Ox is on the cover of Teen Beat,
He's
which is
on
pretty fun.
he's on
Yeah.
Team Beat,
But they
which is
don't do
fun.
just like we don't really get to know the whole platoon. We don't really get to know everybody here.
No.
Harold Ramis is on the cover of like some kind of Guts magazine, like a
Yeah.
man's magazine or something.
Uh-huh. Oh,
And then
that is kind of funny because on the cover it's like it says like Harold Ramis on the Russians. They're a bunch of pussies. It's just,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, that's kind of funny. Um, yeah, and I don't know what Bill Murray's on. He's on some other magazine.
Yeah, but it's that, isn't it the picture that is so famous for like
I think it
from
might be.
Stripes, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, and then it's like the end, and I was like, oh, finally.
Yes. I can't believe it. I
I
can't
know. I know.
believe it.
I was bummed. But then again, I was also like, like I see now what's happening with some of these 80s comedies, as we
Uh-huh.
said from the start. Like
Sure.
the comedy just hit different. The jokes were just different. It was meant for a
Yeah.
certain audience. And even if
Yeah.
I thought, I don't actually remember seeing, I think I thought Stripes was funny because Bill Murray. But that's like, I don't really even
Hmm.
remember seeing this movie necessarily. How about
I
you?
I swear I saw this as a kid, but I don't know under what circumstance
Well,
I
this
would
is,
have. I
yeah,
couldn't imagine my parents being like, you know what, you should watch this.
yeah.
This is pretty
Yeah,
good.
this is gonna
Like,
be
but
it's
I'm
family friendly
pretty
fun.
like I seem to remember as a kid enjoying the first half of it and then becoming increasingly bored.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it is.
I kind of had a feeling that might be what happened this time. Boy, I was checked out way earlier in this movie than I thought I
Several
was going
checkouts
to.
happened for me, unfortunately. But I recommendation
Yeah,
wise,
sure, go ahead.
I did think about Bill Murray, and then maybe his humor hit me better in the 90s. We've
Sure.
talked about this before too, how the 90s really were what the movies that anyway, the movie, one of my favorite Bill Murray movies, and that's not to include any of the Wes Anderson movies he was in, but I love What About Bob?
You do.
I do.
You do. I remember not really liking it. I think that's
Yeah.
an 80s. Is that a 90s
It's
movie? It
90s.
is.
It's
Okay. All
90s.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was late
So
80s.
that's my
I
favorite.
thought we
I
could do
think
it.
one of my favorite. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You know what?
And
Oh, go.
go
Sorry.
ahead. For you, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna ride that Bill Murray wave.
Do it.
There's a movie from 2005 called Broken Flowers,
Oh,
and
I know Broken Flowers. Yeah, it's
it's
a good
really
one.
good. He
Yeah.
gets an
Yeah.
anonymous note
Yeah.
from a woman saying that he has a son of a certain age, and he does the
Hmm.
math, and it's like between four ladies, so he
Yeah.
tracks them all down.
And brings them all the
Yeah, it's
broken
very
flowers.
sweet.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, it's kind of funny, but it's not, Bill Murray doesn't have to try that hard to be funny. Like he's pretty good
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
and
stripes. Wah, wah.
wah, and stripes, wah wah. Hold on, Jamie, I gotta figure out something real quick because I know the movie we're doing next, but I want to refresh my memory. Why? You're swaying. Should I hurry
I'm
up with
okay.
this?
No, no, no.
All
You're
right.
okay.
Um, so Jamie, do you know an actor named Alex Roca or Rocca?
Personally, no.
No, you've never had dinner with the guy or
No.
anything. Anyway, in 2 weeks' time is his birthday. You may know him. You know him from the movie we're going to be doing, but I'm leading up to that.
Okay.
You may know him from the Godfather. Remember when everybody's getting killed at the end of
Uh-huh.
Godfather?
Uh-huh.
He's the guy getting a massage that gets shot right through the eye.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't know that was his name. Okay. Yeah.
So it is his birthday, and we're going to talk about a movie that he was in, and it's a movie that you have brought up many times on this podcast.
Okay.
And it's a movie that every time it's your birthday, I'm like, all right, well, she might pick this. And you never have. And you even last year gave me a list of movies and it was not on there. But I know you're a big fan. Jamie, we're going to watch the movie with Lucas Haas, Mona, and that guy, Lady in White.
Oh, we are.
So I figure we'll do a little Halloween in July.
I love it.
You're
I
like,
love it.
yes.
All right. Excellent.
Yes. So I think that'll be a fun one,
I think so too.
unlike Stripes. I hope so. I don't know.
Yeah.
We've hit a bad patch
Little
and it all
streak.
started with
Little
ET.
streak.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. The more of these we watch, the more confusing it becomes. Right at the moment this movie ended, I was like, I don't know, would I rather watch Stripes or Beach Street? I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if I can answer that question right now.
I don't know that I could either. I don't know because I would have to take them both in sections. I couldn't do a whole another
Oh,
like a whole sitting of one or the other, you know? So let's be hopeful for the
all
lady
right.
in white. Yeah,
Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
exactly.
As always, subscribe to us on the things and follow us on all the stuff. You know
Yeah.
where we
You know
exist.
how to get us.
Yeah. And we will talk to you again in 2 weeks. Until then, have a great 2 weeks.
Bye. I don't have anything